Welcome to another Gospel Outreach story. My name is Andrew Abbott, and today's story comes to us from Dubalgundi, India. Vijaya Kumar slumped back into his chair, thinking hard about what had happened to him last night. The voice that he heard in his dream still rang in his ears clearly. It said, "Vijaya Kumar, you must stop putting both your legs in two boats. You must get into either one or the other." Vijaya knew deep down in his heart that God was leading him through this dream to give up his job as a public school teacher and give his life over to full-time ministry. He had been working at that job for 5 of the 14 years that he had lived in Dubalgundi, India. And up to that point, he had been using all the time he could spare to hold Bible studies and visit other villages and pray with people. But now he could see that he was at a crossroads. And so he made the decision. He started doing Bible studies full time, and he joined up with the Gospel Outreach office in that area. After several years, Vijaya was doing quite well. He had visited many villages, and he had established churches in 5 different villages in that area. But then he started running into trouble. The witch doctors in that area began realizing that they were losing their influence more and more as the number of churches grew in that area. Eventually, they knew they had to do something about it, so they got together as a group and discussed it, and they set upon a plan to get rid of Vijaya. One of these witch doctors met Vijaya on the road in the jungle, and he went up to him and demanded that he give him a loan. But Vijaya just told him that he didn't have enough money to lend to this person, and instead of just walking away peacefully, this man began threatening. And very soon after that, a few days later, his wife happened to show up at one of Vijaya's prayer meetings. And the very next day, Vijaya was startled by a group of about 30 ruffians that were led by this witch doctor. And they came to his house and they beat him up very severely, knocked him out, and literally dragged him to the nearest police station. And there they accused Vijaya of attacking this witch doctor's wife. But that's when God came to this missionary's rescue. Right after that happened, people from around the area, neighbors and friends and acquaintances of Vijaya, started pouring into the police office. And they told the police, this is a lie. This is not a real accusation. We know this man. He's a good man. He's a man of prayer. And he couldn't have committed this crime. And we are prepared to stand by him at this time. In the end, about 500 people came to the police office and testified in favor of Vijaya. And eventually, the police released him, and they asked him, "What should we do about that gang that came and beat you up and took us and falsely accused you here at the police office?" And Vijaya just said, "Nothing. Don't trouble them. I've forgiven them. There's no reason why they should be punished now." The police were astounded by the peaceful, forgiving, loving spirit of this humble missionary. And if it weren't for the committed efforts of lay evangelists like Vijaya in that area, the work of gospel outreach would be very difficult, if not almost impossible, to accomplish. And there is still a need for hundreds of more lay evangelists to go into that area and help grow and nurture the thousands of churches that are popping up in that area. And that is a work that we can all be a part of through our support and prayers. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Gospel Outreach Stories. I hope you'll tune in again next week for another exciting story, and even subscribe or leave some comments. God bless.